Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. We are back in the home studio with my executive co-host, Mr. Matt Aruda.
That's right. Executive co-host. I've been called worse.
Well, sometimes you get Chef Matt on the show,
Yep.
Bartender Matt. That's normally when Christina Bartold's here.
Yeah, I saved that for KB.
And sadly, we're missing her today. I did ask.
Shout out. Well, she's busy. She does live an hour and a half away.
Yeah, she's actually in Ottawa.
Okay.
But I know she's become a fan favorite with our cocktail episodes. I think people are really loving it.
Everyone knows Christina. Everyone who knows Christina loves Christina.
Yeah.
So that's not a surprise.
This is true. And we almost got her to commit to a High Rocks race on the last episode.
Another maybe double on the bartending skills next time around, and I think we got her.
Yes. Yes. She gets a double Negroni.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Damn it. She's going to listen to this episode. She's going to know. she's going to ask for water that night. Anyways, today we are talking about a hot topic that you and I chat about when we are walking home from Benchmark. We talk about it on our dog walks. I actually had this conversation on a recent episode with Moira, and people loved it. And it was all about the topic, the notion, what we were talking about today, about pressure being a privilege.
Absolutely.
And
let's do this.
Yeah, because I feel like the word pressure already, like people are like, and unsubscribe, end of show, close out tabs.
For that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I actually was going to say something, and I'm not going to. But you and I are getting a little bit more bold with some of the conversations that we have on this podcast, which I think comes from the resiliency that we build year over year, month over month. We just recently celebrated 7 years of Benchmark.
Yeah. So we're doing something right.
So if you want to talk resiliency,
yeah,
we got all day.
Absolutely.
We actually just re-released the Benchmark Fitness story. And I forgot how much I loved that episode that we recorded last January.
I wonder if listening back to it now, I wonder if there's key components that we've left out because we've blocked it out of our mind. There's some parts there that were a little bit darker days. Mm-hmm. And to your point of resilience, we're obviously out of it and growing and adding to the team and implementing new things, which is really, really fun and cool opportunities all over. But at the same time, the road to get there was absolutely not one way.
Well, do you remember one thing? Because I just listened to the episode, I think literally yesterday, how and probably deep down, if someone were to really ask us, it's probably still there lingering. We have worked through it. We invested in mentorship to help us with this. But the trauma that we carried with us about raising our prices for the very first time because of one person, one lady.
We will not say her name.
We will not say her name. Mm-hmm. She was not a bright ray of sunshine.
Nope.
She was a little on the crotchety negative side.
That's right. Her initials are MA, and you know if you're listening.
Your initials are MA?
And if you're listening, you know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And you know what? We thank you.
Yeah. Please leave us a 5-star review. But so that's something we did not share, and sorry for another time, but it is amazing how the power of life, that's one person, one experience, my gosh, how it can impact your business and how you make decisions and flow through your operations.
You know, that also comes with experience, right? I mean, the idea of being allowed to feel so impacted by one person's experience or one person's understanding of how things are supposed to operate in another person's business. You just take that for granted that, well, she must be speaking on behalf of every single human that's ever walked through these doors and will ever walk through these doors moving forward. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the case, right? There are some people that have their specific viewpoints on things. Us as baby entrepreneurs at that point, you literally don't know what you don't know, right? You're your vision is immediately what's in front of you in the moment in which you see it. 7 years later, it's much more expansive. And so you would take that same information, if it were to happen today, with a grain of salt. It'd be as impactful. We wouldn't love to hear it, but it sure as hell wouldn't impact how we then make decisions, especially as it pertains to pricing in our business, which, by the way, let's be very clear, for any business to be successful, cash flow needs to happen.
It's kind of the most important factor of running a business.
And it's not cash flow for the sake of being able to go out to fancy restaurants and drive nice cars. It's for the means of being able to reinvest into your space, whether that be in the way of physical upgrades, service upgrades, your human capital, and what those are. I mean, those are our biggest upgrades, right? The people that we bring in and their skill sets and certifications and how they then deploy their tools for all of our community members. That is our biggest investment, without question. And none of that could happen to impact our community without first being able to receive the income. The generation of revenue is what's vital for any business, not to just survive, but to grow, to thrive.
I have a couple of thoughts on this, and I want to share, speaking of pressure, what we've recently added into, and by what I mean is who we've recently added into our business. But before that, and again, this is fresh in my mind because it was in the Rewind episode of the Benchmark Fitness story, I had referenced how when you and I were getting ready to purchase the gym, what is now Benchmark Fitness, that you sold something very special to you. And I was listening to the episode yesterday,
soul.
and and I was like, oh, that's so nice. I spoke about it in such a high level way, and I was not specific. And I actually think that the specificity around it is even more impactful. And I think I've been inspired to share this, and hopefully you're okay with me doing so, that our friend Chris has shared this specifically, where he recently sold his Ferrari. I think that is so honorable that he even just shares that. And I mean, it's for a greater purpose. So for the context of our conversation, you sold a 911 that you loved so much.
I did. And, I heard Chris talk about this, and
obviously it hit home.
of course it hit home. But, you get some people that will first hear that and be like, oh, poor you. You had to sell your Ferrari, or, I had to sell my 911.
Yeah, or if you have a Rolex or a Panerai, insert like loved item that is materialistic in this sense, but means a lot to you.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to me for reasons that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily understand. I shouldn't just flippantly say I sold a 911 as if it was a pair of socks and I move it along.
But you've loved that brand and that specific other car since you were 7.
That has been a dream of mine since I was 3.
Great.
So all of that to be said, to achieve it in and of itself also came with an absolute shit ton
of work.
So it was earned. And then beyond that, obviously, to make the decision to release it is not an easy one. It comes with the swallowing of pride and the almost release of understanding of what you're meant for. And so the idea of selling something like that meant so much to me, still does, will forever. It doesn't mean I can't go back to something like that at some point in my life down the road. But in the time in which I did decide to sell it, it was to leverage our position to put ourselves in a better spot down the road. Looking at the long-term play here, right? Like the investment of what the value of that car was is what has allowed us to supersede what we would have done or what we could not have done if I didn't sell that vehicle at that point, to give us that much more leverage. But that was the whole point of doing so. And again, getting the car in the first place was in and of itself a great accomplishment, and that felt awesome, but it doesn't define me as a person. So the ability to say, you did really great to this point, and now my reward is this kind of a vehicle, which speaks to me more personally than most people, so be it. But the decision to get rid of it, albeit not an easy one, is still something that I don't necessarily regret, because it definitely allowed us to move faster to what the next stage of our life has become.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also, I mean, there's a your future planning too. It's like that next goal. I'm a purse girl. I love rewarding myself with certain milestones with a nice purse. I like the experience. I don't want to buy it online. I want to go to the store. I want the complimentary champagne, possibly a second glass. I feel like that is well earned with the price of the bag I'm about to purchase. And I am going to have that whole experience as a core memory. And I look at some of the bags that I have and I can actually identify, like, oh my gosh, I got this here. I got this here. And that means a lot to me. So do vacations or things that we do in our home. But I think when you can attach a goal to something that you are going to reward yourself with. And so for you, you're going to recreate that 9/11 moment for yourself. My God, maybe eventually you'll have seasonal 9/11s and you'll have, one for every season.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Let's call that in.
Let's call that in. Exactly.
So that I guess, stay in Canada because there's 4 very clear 4 seasons.
Yep.
And you'll just have to get a really trusty winter 9/11 for a Canadian winter.
They're all made in Germany, so I know they'll handle it.
Yes. But going back to the idea of pressure,
Yeah.
and again, speaking, and this is something I'm actually setting this conversation up. I'm really proud of us for being more and more vulnerable and open when it comes to sharing our business and peeling back the curtain. Now, I'm not going to peel back the curtain and be like, these are our financials, but I think it is wonderful when leaders share enough that you can really, truly learn from. And it's something that I have experienced being in rooms that I remember seeing Kaylee Christina. She's one of the founders of ClearStem. And ClearStem is relatively young. I want to say they're under 10 years in business. And she was a guest speaker at a few different girlfriends in business events that our friend Lori would run a couple of years ago. Sadly, they're not around anymore, but they were great one-day events for female entrepreneurs. And the second time she spoke at the event, she pulled up her slide deck presentation and she showed us all her financials. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was so impactful that I'm remembering it, let's call it 4 years later, because it was so easy and clear to understand and see, like, oh my gosh, this is the growth. This is how many team members you have. And that came with taking risks.
And sacrifices.
Yeah. And pressure.
And there's no guarantee that those risks and those sacrifices are going to pan out. It's called a risk for a reason.
Yes, it's just like investing.
It's no different. But the one underpinning or underlining component to the whole thing is the belief in oneself to know that you can create and recreate over and over again. You're not a one-hit wonder, especially, and I've said this before on this show, the people who are listening to this show right now, if you're hearing my voice right now, it's because at your core, you are an entrepreneur and you are looking for ways to always be better and to not just create, but then recreate. Because what you've created today, what you created a year ago, is likely not going to be good enough for you a year from now. You're always looking to evolve, to make better, to be sharper, to impact more, whatever it is. Insert here. So looking at one's numbers and feeling good about one's numbers in year 1, the way we did kind of in year 1.
Just for any of you that are like new to the world of Matt and Allie and benchmarking this show.
How about for 6 months?
Year 1 included, it was like 2019 to 2020, just heavy on the 2020. That's all, just for some context.
COVID
Yes,
closures. Yeah, let's be clear.
word.
Let's be clear.
Just
A lot,
so low vibe.
a lot of closures. So yeah, the first 6 months are great. The next 32 were not so great. So
It's like a dumpster fire.
But whatevs.
Learned a lot.
Yeah, learned a lot. So anyways, where I was going with this is the idea of you recreating and always wanting to be better. That's part and parcel of the pressure you put on yourself. Because if you don't, slowly but surely, you're going to die a slow death. The market will tell you this. The market will respond and you will recognize that the doors aren't opening as often, the phones aren't ringing as often, and your product doesn't have the same uptake. You're not getting the same amount of referrals. Whatever the story might be, there is a bit of in my opinion, there's a bit of a lifeline being thrown out to people who aren't being as progressive in their evolution and finding it really easy to just say, oh, it's the market. And part of that might be the case, but I can give you 100 stories of people who are absolutely crushing it in this same market that I'm hearing other people say, we're slow right now, but it's just the market. So you got to choose which side you want to stand on. And obviously, you're going to find the evidence for either side, depending on where you stand. If you want to be on the side that supports and lets you feel like it's not your fault, it is just the market, hang in there, it'll rebound, it'll come back, then that's your side. And you effectively just become reactionary to the whole thing.
It's like a participation award.
You're just there waiting for luck to happen at that point. And who knows how much financial runway you've given yourself before that point ever becomes available again. Or you call on the pressure to shift what you need to in order to not just find the evolution to where you want to go, but also find the spots that your customers are going to before they get there, so as to ensure that you have the product ready to rock, the service ready to rock before they know they need it. That's the magic. And we don't always do that. We can't always do that. I mean, something like the recovery focus components we brought into the gym. We brought that in thinking this would be great.
Because we like it.
Because we like it, and we saw it in places that have had it for a minute. Didn't exist here in this part of the world, certainly this part of the country, in our city specifically. So when we brought it in, it was a risk. And that was about 2.5, 3 years ago. And now everybody and their brother has a set of Normatec boots and percussion guns and red light mask this and so on and so forth in their own homes, for goodness sake. We had it 3 years ago. So it's become a massive part of why people come to our space and stay in our space and all the rest. But those are the kinds of things where you're trying to get to the point where someone isn't yet and showing them value of what it is or what it could be in their life. But that is a lot of pressure because there's no guarantee that making that move or taking that jump is where you need to land.
Well, I think even being able to reframe the word pressure or the idea of pressure in life and business is quite powerful when you can do that. And it also will take work to reframe it, but thinking of it as pressure is there because it's about something that matters, that has meaning to you, and you want to succeed. You want to do well, whatever it may be, whether it's something specific to, your personal life, relationships, or in this case, and a big part for us is business. And having that pressure to give a great experience to our community and set targets for ourselves on a monthly basis and apply that pressure that is going to help us hit those targets and then feel the endorphins and that celebration of being able to achieve that goal.
Yeah. And I'm going to say something here that is also going to be a little bit scandalous.
Oh, snap. Everyone get a hot cup of tea.
I'm thinking that
Riley's here for it.
Riley's here.
For everyone listening, I currently
up.
have an Australian Shepherd on my lap.
Yeah, and
wasn't planned.
She's ready to hear all the stuff, staring right at me like I'm ready for this.
Give me it, Dad.
All right. So the idea of pressure is something that you have to willingly take on yourself if you want to grow, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like that idea of anytime somebody is trying to create a piece of pottery, if it doesn't feel good, you got to bring it right down to the core in order to rebuild it up again, right?
I love that you just gave a pottery analogy.
Sure. Or
Didn't see that one coming today.
Blown glass, any of this stuff.
So crafty.
Yeah, I'm very crafty. Yeah, absolutely. So here is where the disconnect happens. I can't tell you how many people, and there are plenty of people in our lives, plenty of people in the lives of everyone who's listening now too as well, who feel like it is almost in their best intentions to call in a soft girl era, a soft guy era. Mm. The idea of just looking after oneself because that's what they feel is needed right now. Nobody likes a massage as much as I do. I would love to have weekly massages. I'd love to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and leisurely take my dogs for a walk and all the rest. And there's maybe a time for that on certain parts of one's life. But I want to be very clear that if there is something worth earning, something worth growing or creating, the very harsh reality is that it's going to come with work, pressure, and disappointment. You then have to pick yourself up from it to recreate what it is that you're continuing to strive forward towards. Because here's another very real piece of information. What you strive to create as the apex of what you're here to do and what your evolution is is very, very rarely created in the first attempt. You're almost always having to learn, readjust, re-implement. You probably get hit again, then learn, readjust, re-implement. And it probably happens way more than people think. From the outside looking in, there are, I'm sure, plenty of people that say, must be nice to have a great business and drive a nice car and live in a beautiful home and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? It is. Because the amount of time and effort and work that has gotten to get to this point is not for everybody. That's why you don't have a world full of entrepreneurs. It's a very difficult path that you choose to take, but it is insanely fulfilling. I was just having this conversation with one of my coaching clients today, and he's got a great media company, and he does a bunch of ad spend and media buying for his clients. And he and his wife do a great job at it. They're awesome, based in the States. But he is also, having this conversation with me, he's also saying the same things where, he's constantly feeling like he's pulled in this direction or that direction. And we made the joke because we had seen a meme earlier today, made me laugh, about how I went into entrepreneurship because I was sick of people telling me that I had 30 minutes to eat lunch. And so now I just don't eat.
I saw that same reel.
And it hit home, right? I was like, that's true. There's so many days where it's 4:00 in the afternoon. Today,
what did you have for lunch
I had
today?
nothing
Literally
today.
nothing.
Absolutely. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's just that's how the day goes. So anyways, my point is, to get the life that you are looking to have long-term is going to require effort and work. And that can't come with being soft. And that can't come with waiting for something to just become readily available to you when the stars align and you feel the time is good. Yes, there will be some sort of divine intervention. I have no doubt at some point along the way, you need to have some luck in order to be successful in whatever business you choose to take on. But the thing with luck is you've got to be prepared enough with the right information to act on your opportunity. That, in conjunction with a little bit of luck, is where all the magic happens. The idea of just sitting here waiting for someone to knock on the door and saying, here you go, 0 to 0 chance it happens, right?
Oh my gosh. That's even goes back to everything that I taught in my Visibility Accelerator program, what I continue to talk about, whether it's in the Mentor Collective Mastermind with our one-on-one coaching clients that you and I both get to have the great fortune of working with, and even just conversations, whether it's in content, the two of us, how visibility increases the opportunities that are going to come your way because you're out there, you're playing the game, you're putting in the work, you're going to the events, you're creating the content, you're recreating the content, engaging with people, being visible consistently and taking that consistent action, because action does not come with not doing anything. Like, you want to constantly be in flow so that you can attract these things.
And to be clear, we're not saying this is what has to happen for everybody.
Only if you want it.
But this is it. This isn't for everybody. And that's okay. I think there's plenty of people who will live a wonderfully fulfilled life doing the opposite of everything I'm talking about, because they aren't looking to necessarily push the needle or feel expanded or look to have significantly more than what they currently have. And I don't even mean it as a materialistic thing. I'm not going back to, I'm working this hard so I can get a 911. Sure, that'll be part
It's on the goal list.
It'll be part of what it is, because I'm not ashamed to say that there are some materialistic things that are what drives me. No pun intended.
No,
that
good one.
is what I am working towards, because they have an intrinsic value to me more than just the physical component of what it is. So I'll be more than happy to get to that level of success and be able to reward myself accordingly therein. But I'm talking about the idea of what it is that we're working towards and building towards. Should there be a financial benefit of it, think of everybody else that you can help and support along the way, whether it be families or charities or combination of the two. The idea of having more for just more sake is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having more in order for you to then impact more, taking more in so that you can give more back. That's, I mean, I know you and I think a lot of our favorite people in the world, that's how they operate. Money doesn't necessarily have to be an evil thing to talk about. It shouldn't be a selfish thing that comes up, that if you speak about it, it can only be understood as you being a selfish person. I think that narrative needs to shift, where that could be the case in some instances, but I know a lot of people that don't have money that are also jerks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that end, having money, if you are intrinsically a good person, should only allow you to elevate all of your biggest goals and dreams for
amplifier.
yourself. Absolutely it is.
Well, and I think also that, take this for what it is, all of you listening, watching, that some of these conversations, like if this whole conversation is resonating with you, well, welcome. You're our people. That's exciting. But maybe doing a little audit of who do you spend your time around? Because if you are someone that does want to apply that pressure and you want to achieve these big, great things in your life, in your business, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to buy a 911, but being able to identify what is important to you, what do you want to work towards, and what do you want to achieve, you should probably prioritize spending time around those people so that they will support you and cheer you on, and they'll celebrate you when you win that client account or you hit your first 10K month, 100K month. Those people are important to have in your corner.
Yeah, I think I had read something a few days ago that said, even if you've never had any fish in your life, if you spend all day at a fish market, you will come home smelling like fish. So be careful where you spend your time. And
it's a potent analogy.
You can smell it.
Yep.
And so it's what everybody already knows, that you're obviously the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, right? Like everybody knows. Is that Jim Quick? No, it was not.
No, that's Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn, yes.
One of the greats.
So, absolutely. So like this is not anything that I'm coming up with now that is tremendously new to anybody. But at the same time, it's going to be accurate every single time.
Well, and it's powerful to rehear over and over again as a good reminder.
I think if everyone stops really quickly and just thinks right now, in the course of the last 30 days, who have you spent the most time with? Who have you had the most amount of conversations with? Sometimes it's your own family members, sure. What's their take and what's their mindset in certain things that absolutely will affect you. But truly outside of the walls, the conversations that you can really control, who are you choosing to have those conversations with, and what are you talking about? And maybe it doesn't bother you, and maybe deep down it does. And if it does, you gotta take stock of it, right? You've got to be able to not just audit, but then hopefully have the ability to do something about it one way or the other.
And this could also be online. Like if you aren't maybe you live in a very rural, small town, so you don't see as many people on a regular basis. Well, maybe you want to engage the internet and make some new friends on Instagram or join an online group. This is one of the reasons why we love masterminds so much. Mm-hmm. You look at the incredible community inside the Mentor Collective Mastermind that we are proud partners and coaches within. Looking at the people that live in Canada, the US, Europe, that are all a part of this, and they have each other's backs, and it's not like they're having coffee every day together.
And how often have you heard them say on either whether it's been our Zoom calls or certainly in the community chat rooms and so on and so forth, how many of them have you seen or heard say, and I'm talking like from across the world, like truly, right? Like we've got Netherlands, we've got Germany, there's South Africa, throughout the States, throughout Canada. My point is, these people have never actually physically met each other. But how often have we heard so many of them say that this is the exact room, these are the exact people they've been looking for, because it's been so difficult for them to find it where they live, because it's not common.
And just to tie a bow on this, because I couldn't agree with this whole conversation more, but the idea of you might even have to apply some pressure to yourself to go seek more supportive people.
Yeah, you got to stretch yourself, and it's not comfortable. Because if it is, everybody would do it.
Absolutely.
To stand out and to be 1%, you have to do things that the other 99% choose not to.
And that it's difficult, it's challenging, uncomfortable.
Sometimes expensive.
Yeah. But on the other side of that, Nirvana.
Nirvana, you say?
Just came to me.
Wow. Smells like Teen Spirit.
That's right. Oh, there's a lot of weird sets going on in this conversation. Teen Spirit and a fish market. That sounds like a good time to
Let's wrap it up. Well, no pressure or anything.
Well, speaking of Mentor Collective Mastermind, we're going to pop those details in the show notes because there's a few little spots opening
There's very
soon.
limited spots in total, though, right? Because they only allow so many spots that allow for our coaches to be able to service everybody. So there are a few that have opened up. So now would be the time.
And the accountability coaching, that's really where it's at.
It's pretty hot room, yeah.
Pretty hot room with Matt and Ellie Arruda, just saying. Well, babe, where can everyone find you?
Here at home. I'm around if you need me.
Yeah. Do you even know what your Instagram handle is? This is the typical moment where you would plug that. We'll just skip right to me. Okay, guys, you can
Just
find
look
me on
me up.
Instagram at Ali Aruda, and you'll probably be able to find Matt through my Instagram. I love all of his content.
Yeah, I love all of my content too. Thank you, Ali, for all of my content.
You're welcome. And hey, if you are a Burlington local, come check us out at Benchmark Fitness and be amongst an incredible community of high performers, high achievers,
Yeah, we'd love to meet you.
and some really cool conversations.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for listening, for watching. We love and appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you again soon.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.